How do you find hot content? Now that you have a clear idea of the two-step trick to effective viral marketing, how do you pull off step number 1? Well, there are 2 ways to do it. You can take the hard way or you can take the shortcut. Just so you have a clear understanding of the manual filtering process involved, I'm going to describe these 2 options in detail. First, you can try to do things manually. You can get highly targeted content through this labor-intensive method. The first thing that you need to do is go to the Google Keyword Planner tool. If you don't know what that is, sign up to Google Ads and click on their Tools link and you will be shown a menu that lists the Google Keyword Planner tool. Click on that tool. Enter a few keywords directly related to your niche. Keep doing this and you will see tons of related keywords. Once you have this massive list, filter them based on their accuracy or specificity to your niche. Once you have cleaned up your keyword list, use these on Facebook or Twitter to search for social media accounts that target these keywords. Of course, you're going to only consider social media accounts of people, organizations, or businesses who are truly in your niche. You can tell by the way they describe themselves whether they are in your target niche. Keep filtering these accounts. At the end of this long process, you should have a nice, clean list of social media accounts of your niche-specific competitors. These accounts can be on Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, you name it. The longer your list, the better. Find and poach your competitors' or niche fans' viral content. Please note that when you actually click through the social media accounts of people and organizations in your niche, you will quickly discover that there really are 2 types of accounts, competitors and fans. I'm not even going to describe competitors because this is self-explanatory. Fan accounts are non-commercial accounts started by people who are just emotionally invested in your niche. For example, if you are promoting dog training online courses, you might be able to retrieve a large list of puppy training social media accounts. When you look at their content, it's obvious that they're not really doing this for money. They're just sharing their interests or enthusiasm. These are fan accounts. You need to gather a big list of these as well. Once you have gotten a massive list of niche-specific social media accounts, go through all their content. Take a look at how many times their content has been reshared or retweeted. Pay attention to pictures, videos, interesting links, picture quotes, or any other type of media. As you can probably tell, this process is not easy. You have to know what you're doing. You have to know what to look for. You also have to have a lot of time. Doing things by hand can burn up a lot of time. The shortcut, buzzsumo.com. If you don't have the time or patience to find all of your niche competitors and niche fans' social media accounts and poach their content, use BuzzSumo. This online tool will scour the major social media platforms for content that is directly related to your niche keywords. Make sure that you save the niche keywords that you got from the Google Keyword Planner tool and use them at BuzzSumo. You will see a lot of content that has been filtered already based on certain social signals like retweets or shares. BuzzSumo is a handy tool because it saves you a tremendous amount of time, effort, and frustration. Get your links ready. Once you have filtered your competitors' most viral pieces of content, copy their URLs and put them in an Excel sheet. On the right side, try to find the description for that piece of content. Usually, when you come across viral content on a social media platform, there's a short description or even a title. Use those materials. Maximize niche targeting for your curated content. What is curation? Once you have gathered your reverse-engineered content, please understand that you are going to be using them to build credibility for your social media accounts and, ultimately, to drive traffic to your target website. Your target website could be a resource site, it could be a series of article pages, or it can be an actual blog. However you set it up, you're going to be using third-party content to build credibility for your accounts and build their following. What will pull traffic from those accounts to your target pages, blogs, or resource sites are specific pieces of content or ads that you rotate in between curated content. I hope this is clear to you. You're going to be publishing curated third-party content on your social media account. Now, you may be asking, isn't this illegal? Wouldn't these people object? No, they won't. It's a win-win situation. You're driving traffic to them while at the same time establishing your own niche credibility. You're also calling people to action with their content to like your page, follow you on Twitter or Instagram or whatever other social media platforms you're on. You're creating a win-win situation. The people behind the curated content get traffic and brand visibility. You on the other hand, get to build up your social media accounts. Once you have a big following, an increasing number of people would then see the direct links to your conversion pages. They can then click through and you end up with more traffic to your email squeeze page. This can lead to a larger email list, which can produce a great amount of income opportunities later on. That's how you play the game. It all boils down to reverse engineering and curating somebody else's content. How to improve curated content. I wish I could tell you that you can just take third-party viral content and promote them as is. This is precisely what a lot of other marketers are doing. Unfortunately, if you were to do that, you're going to be leaving a lot of money on the table. You have to understand that you're not just trying to pump up traffic with curated content. That should not be your main goal. Your main goal should not be traffic volume. Instead, your main goal is to get niche, targeted people to review your materials. The more of these people you reach, the more likely they would click on the link to your social media account and become a follower or channel subscriber or page liker or fan. Whatever form it takes, your objective is to get a massive amount of people to follow you. You're trying to create a fan base. And it's going to be hard to do this if you are just sending out curated content with the same headlines that were originally used. People can see that your stuff is not really original, so they probably would ignore it. After all, this stuff is viral, so they've probably seen it before from somewhere else. Your first step after you have filtered curated content for niche specificity is to change their headlines. Create niche targeted headlines for all your curated content. Bring it home. Tighten the focus of this content. For example, if you have a dropshipping store that sells cat pendants and you have found really great viral videos of cute kittens, make sure the headlines of the video teases people or informs them about your inventory. This is not easy because you have to do it in an attention-grabbing way. But if you're able to give this enough time, you can come up with a niche-specific headline that will get people excited about your niche-specific social media account. Create niche-targeted descriptions or commentary for curated content. Not only should you recreate the headline of the content that you're poaching, you should also do the same for its descriptions or commentary. It's really important to make it clear that this content is intended for a specific audience. This way, when this material blasts its way all over the internet and through all social networks, it can then filter people who are interested in the content. Only people who are really in your niche would want to click on the link that you paired with the content to go back to your social media account. Use niche-targeted hashtags. This piece of advice applies to people using curated content on Twitter and Instagram. If you did your homework correctly with videos 4 and 5, you should already be aware of Twitter hashtags that are very popular in your niche. Compile a list of these. Rotate among these when you publish curated content on Instagram and Twitter. This way, you piggyback on hashtags being searched for by people interested in your niche. This is how you get niche-targeted eyeballs. Again, the whole point here is not just to drive a mob of otherwise uninterested people to your social media accounts. Instead, you're looking to get a nice flow of people who are truly interested in your niche and then getting them to follow you on social media. Remember the secondary effects of curated viral content. Viral content is so powerful because you don't just attract people who are already interested in your niche, you also end up motivating them to share with their own social circles. This can lead people sharing the same interests or roughly the same interests to see the links to your social media accounts. So understand how this secondary traffic effect works when crafting headlines, descriptions, and commentary. You're not just repackaging hot content. You're trying to reach people and also their friends and the friends of those friends who share the same niche interests. I want to share with you this big picture so you can see how important this is. This is not something you just blow through. So you have to give this proper attention so as to maximize the niche targeting capabilities of the curated viral content that you are sharing. Remember to protect yourself when sharing others' content. I wish I could tell you that you can flat out recycle everybody's content without any legal problems. Of course, if I were to say that to you, I would be lying. I would be putting you in harm's way. Don't do that. If you're going to be curating tried and proven viral content, you have to protect yourself legally. How do you do this? The power of CTTO. What does CTTO stand for? It stands for credit to the owner. When you post this, you are saying to the world that you don't own the content and that you are attributing ownership to the person who actually owns the content. Now, understand, that when people post CTTO, they don't just do it in passing. The ones who do this right will link to the source. For example, if you are posting a funny cat video and it turns out that it was a video originally made popular by a person with a personal account, include their personal account link in your curated post. Put CTTO and then link to that person. This way, people would know that that person is the owner. You are just curating this content. This is a very important part of getting legal protection. You have to give proper attribution. You cannot give the impression that you created this content yourself. Make sure to comment on the content. Under U.S. copyright law, as well as Canadian intellectual property law, if you use other people's protected intellectual property, you can gain some protection for lawsuits when you do certain things. First of all, your sharing of the content must have some sort of commentary. Either you're sharing it for news value or you're sharing it to foster conversation. This is how the fair use doctrine works. It is all about opening up copyright law to allow for genuine discussion. This way, when you comment, you are triggering the fair use doctrine. Now, I'm not saying that your comment should be very short and shallow. That's probably not going to protect you. If you are going to be curating other people's viral content, your comment must be content in and of itself. It must be that useful. It must have some sort of impact, and it almost must add value to the content that you are curating. You can't just say, check this out, or haha, funny. That's not going to work. Use this tremendous opportunity to talk about your niche. Use this opportunity to highlight your expertise and level of authority in your niche. This way, you can kill two birds with one stone. On the one hand, you qualify the curated content under the fair use doctrine. This makes it harder for the owner of the content to sue you for copyright infringement. Remember, under international intellectual property law, the only person who has a right to copy and distribute the copies of his or her original work is the content creator. Alternatively, that person may assign those rights to another person. Those are the only people who have legal rights under copyright law. The fair use doctrine makes certain exceptions in certain contexts regarding that protection. This way, you can freely share somebody's content, provided that you are adding commentary, adding value, or you are positioning it to foster discussion. It is also important to make sure that the content that you are sharing is not the whole content. For example, you are probably going to run into trouble if you share a complete movie that somebody else produces. But if you're going to share snippets of the video or screenshots like the stuff that you see on BuzzFeed, you probably will be okay. You have to look at how much of the content you are quoting or sampling. If you use the whole content, then you may be in trouble. It is also important that you link to the source. This way, they benefit from your curation. This creates a win-win situation. In most cases, third-party content producers really don't mind. In fact, they would love to encourage you. Why? The more you spread their content, the more traffic they get. The more you popularize their content, the stronger their brand becomes. You're doing them a big favor. Things get a little dicey when you're sharing snippets of popular movies or TV shows. That's when things can get a little touchy. Do yourself a big favor and make sure that there is commentary with the content that you are curating. Make sure that you use the acronym CTTO to protect yourself. Also, if you get any kind of complaint or notification from the rights owner, pull the curated content down. It's not worth it. You don't want to blow all the cash that you have managed to build up creating your own distinct online brand because you don't want to let go of curated content. If you're doing this right, you should have a lot of curated materials anyway. You're not really losing much if the rights owner tells you to pull down a few posts on your social media accounts. When you get such notifications, make sure you act on them promptly. Don't sit on them. Don't blow them off. You're just going to make things harder on yourself if they decide to sue you. Make no mistake, intellectual property right law is no joke. There are fines that you can face, and you might even get jail time. It can get that bad. So do yourself a big favor and make sure you protect yourself adequately when sharing other people's content. Now, please understand that what makes this really murky is the fact that when content goes viral on the internet, it usually changes hands so many times. In fact, this may have happened so much that you really don't know who the real owner is. You really don't know who created that content in the first place. Do yourself a big favor and make sure that you follow the rules above and you are very responsive to take down notices or notifications.